What's going on, family? Welcome back to Israel's Movie Reviews. And today we're going to be discussing the sequel to Man of Steel. Or is it a sequel? Well, this one is called Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. And this movie came back in 2016. And this movie was a movie that I was dying to see, especially after seeing Man of Steel, which I liked overall. Had a few gripes with it, but overall, I think it was a solid film. And I think Zack Snyder really hit it out the park with bringing Superman back to life. And this movie, Batman vs. Superman, it was so intense for me to watch this movie because I'm a big Batman fan. So to pair up Superman and Batman in the film, and then there was teasers how they were going to include Wonder Woman in it as well. I was like, wow, it sounds interesting. Sounds like something none of us could imagine. And I went into this movie, believe it or not, with high expectations. Were those expectations matched? Well, we're going to get into it. This movie had so much potential. I felt like it was a missed opportunity at the end of the day. The movie is not bad at all, but it did miss its marks. Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice was not as awful as reputed. But it was a huge disappointment. Although it did make money, made a lot of money actually. And with the cast that had the characters, and it was gonna have its up and downs. To me, the movie had more potential than anything. It's such a shame that despite some of the bright spots, Zack Snyder, he badly bungled its execution. And for me, the best things about BVS, Dawn of Justice, was the final battle when Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill actually get into it. The final battle, which takes up much of the final 40 minutes of the film. It's explosively thrilling, dynamically choreographed. It's passionately performed. I actually liked Ben Affleck in this movie a lot. It's beautifully shot. That's the thing about Zack Snyder. His movies are usually beautifully shot, but sometimes lack story. And that's true of all the action in this. You know, it's kind of brutal. I'm usually not a big fan of Ben Affleck or Henry Cavill and in their movies, although I do like some. But to me, they did a surprising job of Henry Cavill Superman and Ben Affleck playing Batman, which was odd because I didn't like him as Daredevil, but he came out as a brooding veteran cutting like Batman, and I liked it. This casting could have been disastrous, but he definitely gives a brooding intensity to the character, and he gives more range than he usually exudes. Other bright spots in the cast are Jeremy Irons, who's very amusing as Alfred, a younger version of Alfred. Amy Adams is brought back here as the feisty, if for somewhat underused Lois Lane in this movie. I felt like she was overly used in the first one, and they definitely brought her less time in this one. And particularly Gal Gadot's positively show-stopping Wonder Woman in this movie, and the parts that she has, she was amazing. Visually, this movie looks great, with the exceptions of some very jumpy editing and the rather artificial looking Doomsday, which we'll get into. It's beautifully shot, however, and boldly dark and gritty, and it looks and it fits beautifully with the story, within the story. Hans Zimmer, his music score has many moments of sheer power and beauty. One of his more dynamic and involving secrets for this movie and this score in recent years. The music was everything in this movie. Hans Zimmer is definitely known for that. These great things are unfortunately outweighed by the bad, and we're gonna get into it. The weakest asset of BVS is the story, which only really comes to life in the last 40 minutes of this film. In the meantime, it definitely takes seemingly forever to get there with a particularly ham-fasted, rambling, and dull first hour. The first hour Wasn't as boring as many were perceived, but it could have went without certain things. You know, there's times where you just want to go with the story. This movie, unlike the first one, wasn't paced well at all. And I feel like another big problem with the story is it's overstuffed. It was overlayered. And I felt like it was trying to insert too many ideas, too many subplots. It lumped up a lot of characters and too often undercooked dramatically from too many of the characters being given short shrift and from too many of the subplots being underdeveloped, discarded or at the end of the day unnecessary. Half an hour's trimming at least would have made it a far superior film, believe it or not. This movie could have went 30 minutes shorter. Snyder, as we all know, is a great visual style director. And in the action, there's no complaints. The action was phenomenal. But in a drama, it's a mess. It was, overall, it was overwritten. It was undercooked. The storytelling he flounders badly here. The script is at best, clunky, cleary, dreary, with few moments that evoke thought. Very few moments resonate emotionally. And the funnier, quirkier scenes, they feel jumpy. And then it jumps into something serious, begging for like an anabolic steroid shot, seriously. Well, there are some bright spots in the cast. Too many of the performances don't come off well. Starting with Jesse Eisenberg, who to me is the biggest flaw in this film. He's the biggest problem. The way his Lex Luthor is very manic and almost comical. And the two really don't match well. The last one to try to pull that off was Gene Hackman, who did a really good job because that story was more cheesy, campy. It was a different kind of Superman. But in this one, you feel like he belongs to another film entirely. While Henry Cavill in this one is a bit stiff. And he doesn't seem to be at ease in this movie. You know, at his best in the first film, he's definitely himself. But in this one, he doesn't blend well, as he should have. And we already spoke about Ben Affleck. He was amazing. I think he was a great Superman. Batman, actually. And Lawrence Fishburne, tries his best and has moments, but he doesn't blend as well as I thought either in this film. I think he did a pretty good role with the less time he was given in the first one. And to say that the film makes a complete waste of Doomsday, who was non-threatening and pretty pointless actually, is an insult, because Doomsday in the comics is this brooding, menacing, breaking Superman's back kind of character. And in this film, he gets to do all those things, but just graphically, and I just wasn't in it. I thought it was horrible. In conclusion, the potential of this movie, man, was so high. I was disappointed in many ways, but at the same time, I did leave the movie theater with a smile. Movie wasn't pointless. It wasn't a catastrophe, but despite some bright spots that BVS had, it definitely misses the mark of what it could have been. Especially the way the movie started out with the climatic ending of Man of Steel, that battle from the point of view of Bruce Wayne as he runs into this destruction. I thought 18 months later, the way they explained it in the film, I thought it was going to come out to be a compelling idea. And the film is so long and confusing, and apparently nobody saw the movie previous to it, I feel like this movie definitely missed the mark, but it could have been better. We'll leave it at that. And I give this movie a 7 out of 10. And if you liked this review, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. And if you want more content from me, please subscribe to the next one. Peace.